For outstanding adaptive reuse, we have W&A Engineering. For our description here, this is part of the Southern Manufacturing Company. This addition was built sometime between 1913 and 1918, according to the Sanborn maps, and was part of the expansion to Mill Number 3. Its original use was that of a cloth room. From then until textile manufacturing ceased in the area, it served several purposes. Now its purpose is the office of W&A Engineering, with offices and a conference room on a mezzanine level and workspaces on the ground level where textile manufacturing once took place. And I just want to say, Historic Athens, as part of our role as local historic stewards ourselves, we oversee the easement on the Southern Mills property. We had the chance, as part of observing that easement, to take a walk through this facility, and it is incredible. So we really appreciate the work that W&A Engineering has done. As a recipient here, W&A Engineering, Studio B&A Architect, and Grawl as contractor. Fun fact, a cloth room is where the finished product is folded and packaged for shipping. So really unique space, and really reused in an incredible way that will really continue to redefine that area.
So without further ado, I am very excited to make an announcement about the Outstanding Rehabilitation Award to W&A Engineering. And I'll forever know it as John Williams and Associates, because I've known him since he started his career in the late 90s, I guess, 1999. So there, you see on your screen the rehabilitation of the mill building number 3, I believe. And so at this time, I would like to introduce Scott Haynes with W&A. He will be here with us tonight to talk about this project. Hey, Scott. Good to see you. I can't hear you, but hopefully that's going to get corrected shortly. There you are. I think I can hear you now.
Okay. Glad to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'd also like to go ahead and bring on Dwayne Bray, who is with Grail Construction. You've met him earlier this week if you tuned in, so he's becoming the second host these days. So Dwayne, thank you for being here, and another important member of the team. So Scott, what an exciting project. I can tell my audience tonight that I had the great privilege of being able to walk through this new facility today, as a matter of fact. Scott took me on a tour, and I am so impressed with what you all have done. And so, first of all, was I right? Is it mill building number 3 out of this group?
I believe that's correct.
Okay. So we're talking about a mill, Southern mill that was here, probably started in the early 1900s, maybe 1913, something along that line. And this has been a project that we have been watching for years, hoping that we would finally see some action. And by golly, we finally have. So, Scott, tell us a little bit about how W&A got involved with this and decided to absolutely make it their home.
Certainly, yeah, sure. So even before we thought about calling this home, we were involved with it as a project. We started in around 2012, before Creature Comforts was here, back when it was in its raw state. Since then, we've seen a lot of changes, Creature Comforts being a big one. And what we're seeing today is a big mark in that progress. When we first started, there were buildings that were on the brink of loss, including our own building. It had a massive hole in the ceiling, and you could see blue sky through it, and rain would come through when we get weather. And to sit in this building right now is just an amazing thing.
Well, one of the most interesting things that I saw when I was there is that basically the entire space of this mill building was really a 2-story wide open space. And part of the design, and this is a good time to do a shout out to Brett Nave with Studio B&A, who worked with you all to create your interior spaces and office. You did a mezzanine basically, I mean, really, I guess you added a floor inside the space and created some almost really a two-story space within a space. Tell us a little bit about that and the idea behind doing that.
Well, yeah, this space was basically an open warehouse space. Had some columns, 2 rows of columns that ran down, either side of the center. It was a cloth, called the cloth room, I believe, originally. I think the last thing that was done in this space was actually make acid wash jeans back in the early 90s before it closed. But when we looked at this space, we did some survey with our employees and tried to determine, what were the things that were important for us. And having a separate space for our studio, in contrast to the space that we have for our clients, was a big important thing for us, that we could have a little bit of separation, as we do confidential work, and so having that separation was very important, among other things. So the use of the mezzanine really works well because it allows us to have that upper space for clients while still not really crowding our production space. We still have high ceilings in the studio, which is really nice, and especially with the large middle windows, it lets in a ton of light, more actually than we were expecting. When we first got in here, we had a lot of really sunny days and folks wearing sunglasses and trying to do makeshift blinders for their screens and stuff. So it takes some adjusting, but we'll take it. We love natural light.
Well, it's really beautiful, and I love the open studio spaces. The actual studio spaces are open 2 floors, and it really gives a nice feeling in there, and lots of room. And I think that some of the things that you've created in there, like a very nice break area, kitchen area, that people can go and get away from their desk and enjoy a break or lunch or something like that, was really, really, really nice too. And so I think it's fantastic. But before I get too much more into that, and before I get to Dwayne, Scott, tell us a little bit about W&A and what you all do. And I think our audience would like to know what W&A Engineering is.
Well, we are a multidisciplinary firm comprised of civil engineers, landscape architects like myself, and we have surveying also in-house. We do everything from land planning and rezoning to landscape design and traffic engineering. We pretty much help do anything it takes to put a building on the ground, except for just short of architecture. And we've been in the Athens area for, like you said, since the very late 90s when the company was started. So we're really happy to be here where we're at now.
Well, I've got to say that I've always enjoyed John Williams and my relationship with him and my relationship with you, Scott. We had the good fortune to work on a couple of projects together, and so we really appreciate that very, very much. So as we get back into this rehabilitation, I mean, I got to ask that, since you started out as being really, the mill was really almost a client of yours, as opposed to where you became your home there. How did it evolve into the fact that you decided to actually take on the project for yourself?
Well, it's definitely not something I think that in 2012 that we thought would happen. It's really just a very lucky set of circumstances to bring us all together in this. We were looking for a new space. As our old space, we were outgrowing it, and it was right in the right timing. And this project was ready to receive a company like ours. Creature Comforts had been established, and good things had happened with that building. And so being able to take the second tenant space was something that really was just very, very lucky for us. We have a great relationship with the owners and developers of this property. They've been longtime clients, and so it really made for a great partnership in that. So we're just, never would have dreamed, I think, at the beginning of the project that we'd end up here, and now that we are, it's really great, because this is really the start of the larger picture of this development. Even as we speak, there's work going on right now to rehab the rest of the building that we're in, and also the other 2 large structures that are on site. And I think that the time will show that it's really going to make for quite the positive impact for the community in this corridor. And we are all about building better communities, and I can't think of a better project to kind of kickstart that for this corridor. And most people don't know this mill is here because they just, it's down the street on the other side of Chase than most people go. And so to be able to bring life here and to see it turn around is something that we're really excited about.
Well, I don't think anybody could be more excited than the historic Athens group seeing a building get repurposed. And so I think this is a good time. It's a little bit of an anecdotal story here, but Amy Kassane, who's the former director of what was then Athens Clark Heritage Foundation, had her eye on this property for so long, and she was such a champion for getting people interested in this project. And lo and behold, now she's part of your group at WNA, and so she's not only getting to see the fruition of her work, but she's now getting to live there and work there. So I think that's really a neat part of this story. So thank you, Amy. I hope you're out there listening to us. So Dwayne, there you are again, the contractor with Grail Construction, and another interesting project. How was it for you to take on something this was a very large project?
David, it was exciting and terrifying at the same time. Working on a building this size, when it was built in the early teens, like early 1900s teens, they used materials sourced from where they built the building. So, and a 2x4 was an actual 2x4. So we're matching existing materials and having to source those materials. Everything was special order. You don't go to Lowe's or Home Depot or even, any kind of supply house and pick up an actual, the roof deck itself was 2.5 inches thick by 8 inches wide. So all that material was special order, and just the logistics of getting it there, lining everything up with the mill, making sure we had the material coming in a timely manner, and staying on top of your supply was, it made it a challenge, but it was a rewarding, fun project to work on.
Right. Well, I think when you actually have to put that much effort into it and you finally get it to work out, that's got to feel really good, right? So when I was through the warehouse area and I saw you have a mixture of existing beams and columns and some new columns and some new beams. I thought it blended really great. So, I mean, obviously, it took the kind of coordination that you all at Grail were able to provide to make this work. And so I really congratulate you on that. And
we felt that it was important to try and reuse and salvage and save as much of the existing materials we could and repair, which I feel like we did a really good job. I mean, we took the roof apart by hand, piece by piece, and the guys put it back together, and we repaired what we could. So, yeah.
But it looked great, and there was some really wonderful uses of reclaimed wood that Scott pointed out to me. And so, I told somebody the other night, I said, if I was 10 years younger, I'd be terribly jealous of this wonderful space. But y'all got just a super office now, Scott, and I appreciate that. And thank you for taking me on a tour today. I was glad to see some of my friends there that are working there. And do you have anything else you'd like to say, Scott, about the project?
Well, I will just mention, Dwayne touched on the reuse of materials, and sustainability has been a pretty big deal for us as we've grown as a company. This building, we're really proud of it because not only just for what it's become, but it's one of the first Earthcraft certified light fit out construction certifications in the Southeast, which is a big deal. And part of that included the reuse of materials. I think we were able to divert something close to 45 tons of waste from the landfill through that reuse. And then we look at the use of solar that we have through the Solarize Athens 2.0 initiative. We're getting nearly half of our power from the roof. So we're really proud of those aspects. All of our furniture has been smart sourced, and that to us is a real source of pride, and we're happy to be able to do those things. And it just makes for a wonderful environment to work in every day.
That's true. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up about reusing your materials, but also about the solar. I don't know if I think our audience can see the picture of the overall building, and what all you see are the solar panels, and that's a really wonderful use of energy and being able to do that. So that is great, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. I see where we've got a few public comments there. Alex Sam says he knows Brett and Ave through their daughters playing soccer, so he was giving a shout out to Brett. And Amy, thank you for tuning in there. And she says that it's definitely been a full circle moment for her, and I agree. I agree with that. So that's wonderful. Well, thanks so much for spending time with us and being with us and talking about your project. I really, again, want to congratulate you. And I also want to thank John one more time for his dedication to Athens. And I know y'all also have an office in Nashville, Tennessee, so I'll make a little shout out about that. And appreciate you so much, and appreciate you being with me again. So take care.